Today's presenters are Rob Hughes, Product Manager, Enterprise Software, and Grant Harrison, Technical Account Manager. They will focus in on how you can maximise Gallagher Command Centre's features during the COVID-19 environment. I will hand the floor over to Rob to start today's presentation. So over to you, Rob.
Thank you, Elise, and hello to everybody. These are indeed interesting times. We have attendees from around the globe today, and the situation we find ourselves in differs from country to country and even person to person. Yet we all face those common questions, don't we? How do we best manage now? And to what extent can my organisation function during the current state? And what will the new normal look like when COVID-19 eventually subsides? For all of us in each of our regions, we wonder both immediately and over the long term, how will our organisational policies need to adjust to both government mandate and also social expectation? For example, can we do our bit to minimise contact with surfaces? How do we enforce physical distancing measures? And can we prove that we are compliant to restrictions on mass gatherings and the like? What can we do to keep those we care about safe? So this brings us to our topic today. How can you get the most value out of your existing command center setup system within this context? To put it another way, what are the things I can do now to ensure business continuity while ensuring my people remain safe? And importantly, that they feel they are in a safe environment. And how do we communicate with our people during these times? So today we'll drill into some specific features that we have that we can enforce organisational policy at the door. For this segment, I'll hand over to Grant. He has Command Centre running and will walk you through some scenarios, and then I'll provide a wrap up at the end. Okay, over to you, Grant.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Rob. And thank you very much to everyone that's attending today. It's wonderful to have you on board. My name is Grant Harrison. I'm Technical Account Manager. And just before I get started, some of you have experience with Gallagher Command Centre and some of you don't. And the version of Command Centre that you're looking at here was released about 11 years ago with version 7. It was formerly known as Gallaher Premier Client, and it was designed for control room operations. It was meant to be utilized across multiple monitors in high resolution, with the concept of providing a security operator everything at a glance in order to do their job effectively and efficiently. And as I go through this demonstration, you'll see I make constant notice of items that are visual cues or audible cues that allow an operator to do this. Why Gallaher? We understand that the industry is going to have new challenges opening up again. There are going to be new safety requirements. And we know that utilizing the Gallaher solution, we're able to maximize business continuity. But more importantly, one of our core values is people, and keeping them safe and secure and maintaining compliance is our focus. We want to be able to promote to our clients measures that they can take to operate in their new environment and how they can leverage their existing systems to provide this. Another note to make here is that none of the features that we're showing you today are designed specifically for COVID-19. These are existing features that have been embedded in Gallagher core software over the years. And we wanted to demonstrate exactly how powerful the solution is and how wonderful the features and functionalities are that we can utilize to help keep our people safe. We also have an increased need to have smart and integrated solutions. Some of those I'll be going through today. So moving on, the very first topic I have is on social distancing. So in the viewer that I've prepared for this topic, in the right-hand side, I have a what is social distancing guidelines script. Now, this was taken from my local government's webpage, but this could also be a link to your local intranet, or it could be your own business policy. Every environment or region is different, and complying with those stipulations should be primary. So the reason this is on here is that a security operator has this information available to them. They are empowered should they have to manually intervene, and they know exactly what the governmental and business guidelines are for such an instance. On the left-hand side of the screen, I have a site plan. And in the middle of the site plan, it says, warning, zone at maximum capacity. This block is currently grayed out. And below that, I have a tag board. What we've realized is that for social distancing, we can utilize a feature of Command Centre called zone counting. And we can utilize that to enforce that individuals within a zone have suitable movement space in order to prevent coming into contact with each other. Maintaining a zero contact policy is key here. So what I'm going to demonstrate is that when an individual enters a zone with 2 people already in it, and this is a user-defined number, so for the purpose of my demo, it's just 2. I request access using my mobile connect, which I'll discuss later. There you can see I've entered the zone, and here is my visual indicator. The zone is now at maximum capacity. A security operator can see that simply by looking at a screen. The great thing about this feature is that off the back of this, we can automate a number of functions. We can initiate a zone lockdown, which will prevent all additional access. And the great thing here is that we can also add competency exemptions or entry allowed during lockdown options to our access groups. This means that even though regular staff are prevented access during this lockdown, we can ensure that first line responders and medical workers are still able to access that zone in case of an emergency. We can also initiate a broadcast notification to be distributed from this. And that means we can notify all individuals that are currently on site to avoid that zone or to prevent them trying to gain access. Now, I used my mobile credential to gain access, which is great because it's a no contact option. And that's the next topic that I have for you today.
Hi, I'm Isla. I'm going to show you how to open doors using Gallaher's mobile connect. First, you will be sent an email. Open the email and download the app. Go back to the email and click the green button. Enter the code into the app. Two-factor authentication may be needed to access more secure areas of your site. If your phone supports fingerprint recognition, we recommend using this as your second factor. When a reader is within range, it will appear on your phone. You can also put your phone by a reader. You can even open doors or gates from far away.
All right, so I wanted to utilize this video for a specific reason, and that's really to just highlight that utilizing our mobile credential is effectively child's play. And the second thing that I really liked about that is Isla's reaction to mobile credentials is just so endearing. And I think that in our current global mood, a little heartwarming video like that can do everyone a bit of good. So this is a cardholder viewer that I've configured to show some additional information. And along with the video on the right-hand side, in the middle of the screen at the bottom, I've provided a schematic. Again, this is information that I can provide to an operator to for everything at a glance and allow them to be effective and efficient in their role. So what to take away from this is that Gallaher is a FIDO Alliance member, and this technology was developed in conjunction with Knock Knock Labs. That means that we can securely provision mobile credentials from the Gallaher cloud server hosted by AWS in Sydney and use trusted authentication protocols to verify the identity of an individual receiving those. The most important factor at this point to take away is that variable read range. That allows us to manage that zero contact policy and ensure that individuals can gain access without having to pass around physical access cards or come into contact with public property. So what I want to do next is I want to show you just how easy it is to assign a new mobile credential. So I can click Assign Card. From the card type, I drop down, select Mobile Credential. My information is already populated. I can select a from and until, and I can click Okay, now that currently lists as active and it's highlighted. When I click save, that status changes from sending and waiting for registration. That credential has now been sent. Now I'm going to pick up my mobile phone and I'm going to receive that email and I'm going to be able to action that. So I accept the credential. It opens up in the Mobile Connect app, and then it's going to ask me to register with my fingerprint for Touch ID, which I do. The registration is succeeded, and you can see that that credential has already changed to active. That's how easy it is for an operator to securely and safely provision hundreds, if not thousands, of credentials from the safety of their office or their home. Again, maintaining that zero contact policy. And that's incredibly important for us at this time. So speaking about contactless technologies, it's going to bring me on to my next viewer. That is a wonderful piece of hardware. The MorphoWave Compact is suitable for any location. With a read range capacity of up to 44 people per minute, makes it perfectly acceptable to mount in pinch points or speed lanes alike. One thing I'd like to make notice of here is that Gallaher is the only manufacturer globally to integrate with Morpho and Idemia products to the level that we do. This means you no longer have to rely on disparate solutions, duplicate enrollments, and synchronization of databases. The biometric template is enrolled directly through Gallaher and into our secure SQL database. And then following on from that, great news for everybody that's worried about it. We are GDPR compliant across the board. So rest assured that the data that we store is secure and safe. Now, in the middle of the screen, I have this cardholder biometrics option, and it's currently on MorphoWave. Now, I've been speaking about everything at a glance continually, so I'm going to switch back to Finger quickly, and just to show you what it looks like when biometric data has been captured, you can see there is a graphical representation for biometric templates enrolled for this individual. It's important for me to stipulate here that these are not images of the individual's fingerprints. These are simply generic images that are used to identify where the biometric templates have been enrolled. The Idemia solution uses very sophisticated, secure, and accurate algorithms that convert biometric minutiae points into binary data. So there are no fingerprint images stored in our database whatsoever. Now, going back to the MorphoWave, when I click Capture, you'll see the MorphoWave fingerprint enrollment screen come up. And again, this is highlighting the level of integration we have with the product. We're able to adjust the fingerprint quality from standard to very high for more secure areas. We can define the usage of the left and right hands, whether they're access, unused, or duress, and we're able to specify an enrollment reader. It's really that simple. And then you might be wondering, well, I've got existing Gallaher T-Series readers on site. How do I make the switch to this MorphoWave solution? I'm going to show you. On this viewer, what I've done is I've got a little tutorial on how to replace T-Series readers with a Morpho device. And quite simply, it's replacing a T-Series reader with our HBus WIG variant door module, the C300-665. This module relies on the same architecture that's already in place, and it allows us to add 2 Morpho devices by simply adding 2 short WIG cable runs. That's simply 5 wires for each device into our C300-665. Can't be simpler, really. Now, the C300-665 device itself is built on the same HBus RS485 technology as our T-Series readers, meaning that we can use all of the existing infrastructure to mount this device. It's simply COM-A and COM-B back to the controller 6000 or HBus port on one of the plug-in modules. The only important factor about adding biometric devices is power supply. Now, the biometric devices require a minimum of 12 volts as opposed to the 9 volts of the Gallaher readers. So if PoE is used, we do recommend utilizing PoE+. However, best practice dictates that we use a hardwired power supply with good output filtering, such as the Gallaher C200-440 8-amp power supply. It's also important that those devices are wired directly to the power supply and not through the Gallaher architecture. On the right-hand side of the screen, I have a little schematic, and it just highlights the architecture. We've got HBus RS485 out from the controller to the WEGO module. We have two Morpho devices connected, and then the TCP/IP backbone is encrypted using TLS 1.2 encryption. We can also secure the devices themselves by encrypting them on site. Now, I'm going to get into proactive workforce management through the use of competencies.
Anyone who's managed a business, small or large, understands the different challenges and risks involved in keeping your people safe and your operations active. This is Gallagher Command Centre, the powerful software at the heart of Gallaher Security's integrated solutions, designed with business management in mind. Compliance can be crucial. Gallaher Command Centre proactively manages employee competencies and enforces corporate policy and operational standards. Integration with your HR system creates a single source of data for compliance. Prove compliance is being met with Command Centre. A lapse in health and safety can cause accidents to occur on site. Command Centre allows easy management of staff fatigue and exposure and unbiased drug and alcohol testing. Inefficient use of resources can cost you time and money. Command Centre can provide rich data analysis of site activity, staff movement, time and attendance, and resource utilisation. You can make operational decisions with greater precision. Multiple sites can mean duplicated systems and increased costs. Manage distributed sites from one system, improving operational efficiency and streamline your business. From compliance to operational efficiencies, Gallaher Command Centre has been designed with business management in mind.
Safe, secure, compliant. This is Gallaher Command Centre. Very powerful statement and something I truly believe in. We're able to utilize existing functionalities within the solution to enable proactive workforce management at the point of the access decision. We're no longer looking at an individual with what suitable means of access and a specific access schedule, but we're also bringing into the access decision things that pertain to business policy and compliance. So on the right-hand side of the screen, I've created some competencies that are relevant to our current state. Whether the individual has a valid COVID-19 test carried out. Something else that we've been discussing is the possibility of immunity passports for individuals that have recovered from the virus. And then looking at whether the individual is key personnel. Now, of course, only essential service providers and key staff should be traveling and working at this current state. So it's important that we identify that that individual fits that category. So having a look at this, you can see that my COVID-19 test is due for expiry, and it expires in 1 day as given by a visual indicator to a security operator. Off the back of this occurrence, we can automate a broadcast notification to be sent to this individual as well as their HR manager so that they can make the necessary arrangements in order to have that test redone and remain compliant. However, if I was to come along and manually change that to an expired state, it now changes color. Again, that color coordination, everything at a glance, and we can see that that has expired. Now, what I've done is I've included cardholder relationships here, where the individual's line manager can be identified. Off the back of this event, we can send out a broadcast notification, either via email, SMS, or through our mobile app, to this individual, to HR, as well as to their line manager, and disciplinary action can be carried out against this individual for not remaining compliant and for putting their colleagues at risk for health and safety violations. You might be wondering though how those notifications look, and I'm going to show you. So on this viewer, I've got two screenshots on the right hand side. One is the homepage of my mobile device, which is what the app looks like when you get your notification. The great thing about smart devices is that if you have multiple of them, this notification can be mirrored across all of your devices, substantially increasing the opportunity for notice. And then on the right hand side, we have the message itself. Hello, Grant. Your COVID-19 test is due for renewal in 2 days on Friday, 3rd of April, 2020. Please contact HR to arrange an appointment. This is all logged in our audit trail. We can identify whether a notification has been successfully broadcast from the server. This means we can maintain complete solution and site integrity. Now, we also have the ability from a site plan to run a macro to broadcast a notification. In this instance, it could be an evacuation notification, like many businesses have had to do over the past couple of weeks. Now, sending an evacuation notification could have severe consequences if done falsely. And in this case, what I've done is I've issued a prompt to an operator. Are you sure you wish to send this? Again, this entire process is all logged in the audit trail, so we can see the decision the operator makes. And when I click yes, that light turns green, again, that visual indicator, and that broadcast notification is sent out across all my devices. And then we also have the ability to send a broadcast notification ad hoc. We can select a predefined message, and we can add or remove cardholders on the fly. We can also type up an ad hoc message, and we can send that out. We then get the notification that this notification has been passed to the server for sending. Again, everything is logged. And then finally, I want to get onto the mobile app. Now, you do get a mobile app license included in your base Command Centre license, but it does provide some substantial functionality across these three screenshots that I've got here. The first one that I want to look at is the alarm details. So it's a low priority alarm. Grant Harrison's been denied access into the FOIA access zone through FOIA door due to lack of competencies. We can see instructions provided to the operator as to what to action. We can drill down into information about the cardholder, and we can see the credential and the competencies associated with this individual. The security operator can acknowledge, process, or add a note to this alarm safely and securely from a remote location. Again, we're able to utilize features and functionalities of Command Centre through the mobile app, maintaining a zero contact policy. In the middle screenshot, I'm looking at one of my access zones. This is my COVID-19 restricted access. You can see it's secure, and you can also see that my zone count is at 6. It's above maximum. This operator can now change the access mode to a different state, preventing additional access, or alternatively, they're able to initiate a lockdown override directly from their mobile device from anywhere in the world. And finally, on the right-hand side, I've made multiple mentions of zero contact policy. Now, our T-series readers that are BLE compatible, Bluetooth low energy if you don't know, do allow us to adjust the read range. I've been able to successfully test this read range up to a distance of about 7 meters, but I do believe we can reach 10. Now, every site is different. We're all going to have requirements, and this configuration feature of our application allows an individual to get out on site and to measure the correct distances between readers, public property, and other paths that personnel may be using. And they can configure the reader to read from an appropriate range in order to maintain that zero contact policy. So those are the views that I've put together today. I do hope that you've found value in this and enjoyed watching this as much as I do presenting it. The Gallaher solution is incredibly powerful, and it's a wonderful tool for any and all. So I'm going to hand back to Rob. I thank you very, very much for your time, and wish you all the best.
Great, thanks, Grant. Trust the old mute button on there. Hey, thanks, guys. I've just put a bullet point list together of some of the areas that Grant's touched on for your future reference. So just use that as a guide when you get the presentation later. What I wanted to do is also point to a reference page we've added to our website. So there's a link from our home page, and it's just got a few things on there. There's some FAQs about Gallaher's status with regard to manufacturing during our lockdown here in New Zealand. We have been able to continue manufacturing and distribute during this time as an essential service. But there's some more information on the website. And we've also got a checklist that you might want to run through with your security teams, sort of broken it down into pre, during and post lockdown scenarios and things you might just want to run through and have a look at with your team. What I also wanted to mention is we've expedited a contact tracing report through our development team. So this is probably a week or two away from release to market. So that'll be in your hands shortly. What it will allow you to do is when your organisation has been made aware of someone who's COVID-19 positive, then you can run a report against that cardholder, and it'll return cardholders who have been in contact with that person, been in the same access zone or access zones in a recent time period. So I've got a screenshot there that just gives you a feel for what it will look like. It's an external utility to Command Centre using our REST API interface there. You can run it from 790 or later. It outputs a CSV, so you can do some analysis in Excel or similar. One feature it does include is the concept of a generation. So again, I might not have been in contact with the positive person myself, but there may have been an intermediary. So that may be a function that allows you some drill down as well, depending on your scenario. So there's a bit of configuration there, which cardholders to run it against, access zones, and the time period you're interested in as well. So watch this space. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll drop out some more information. We'll announce it on our social media platforms. So yeah, keen to get that out to you guys as soon as we can. Are there any questions we could go through? And Grant, feel free to chime in on any questions we've got there. I think we've had a couple come through.
I've been answering a couple on the Q&A now.
Oh, yeah.
First one I've got here is whether the demo is based on version 8.20. Even though I'm using a beta version of 8.30, all of this configuration was done on 8.20, and there are no 8.30 specific features and functionalities here. There was another question from Fabio. With such a long partnership with Morpho devices, will there ever be Gallaher specific variants of them where HBus is available at the endpoint? Currently, we're not looking at this. However, there has been discussion about moving to utilizing OSDP v2 for an encrypted RS485 option, which will eliminate the vulnerabilities associated with WGED. So keep an eye on that over the coming months. I'm sure you'll see an announcement shortly. And then Nadine has requested some information about a mass broadcast online for telco suppliers utilizing SMS function in Australia. That will be something I'll have to get one of the Australian team to follow up on, as I can't help on that specifically. New queries coming through. Stephen has asked what the cost implications are if they want the social distancing module. Zone counting is a base function of Gallagher Command Centre. Therefore, it's simply configuration changes that need to be applied. There was an anonymous question about costings regarding items that have been shown. Most of what's been discussed is included to some degree in the base license, but please get in touch with your local channel partner or with us directly through the webpage, and we'll be able to assist you very much so. Looks like that's all from my side that I see. Just a reminder that the webinar is being recorded and will be published. There will be a link provided for that. Yeah, I think that's all I can find so far.
Cool, thanks, Grant. That's basically a wrap from us, guys. Thank you very much for your time again. Keep an eye out on social media for announcements regarding our third webinar in the series, which will be coming up and announced shortly. And again, if anything has got you curious today, yeah, chat with your local Gallaher representative or us at head office here, and we'll be happy to chat more through you as we navigate this situation together. So again, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, everyone. It was great speaking to you today.